fit?
Yes, sorry. Yes, all okay so far. So it's of course always a concern when so many players are abroad and are on international duties, and of course there are a few slight knocks or whatever. Milot Rashica, for example, was struggling with some knee problems, but it seems to be all okay, and they seem to be all available. And for that, some good news in personal terms for us.
Brilliant. And during that break, Teemu Pukki, he broke the Finland goal-scoring record during the break. How proud are you of him, and are you hoping he'll bring some of that form into the weekend?
Yes, Timo was fantastic. So I don't want to discuss if he's the greatest striker this club ever had, but definitely one of the greatest. There's no doubt about this. So his numbers are speaking for itself. So it's unbelievable what he's done for us during the last season. More or less like since the first day he went through the door, he was outstanding for us. I think in his first championship season. Yeah, he was there with 29 goals, best goal scorer in the league, best player in the league, outstanding. Then he scored double figures on Premier League level. Then last season 26 again, and he brought Finland more or less all alone to the Euros. Anyhow, it was outstanding. And yes, right now also well deserved that he's the number one the all-time goal scoring record in Finland, and of course a proud moment for him and his family, and he totally deserves this because it's not just his quality, also his personality is top class. He's not too much thinking about himself, he's more thinking about the team. And I was a striker as well. Yeah, sometimes you're also greedy anyhow to be there with a fantastic goal record, but Timo is really more thinking about the team, and whenever a teammate is in a better position, he also passes the ball and is greedy to help the team. Also his work against the ball, his pressing. So we're all unbelievably happy that we have him, not just his skills as a football player, but also his skills as a person. He's a fantastic football player, but perhaps even better human being, and we're all happy that we have him.
And ahead of the Brighton game, I wanted to ask, how do you and the players deal with the pressure of getting that first win of the season?
Take it step by step. So it doesn't matter anyhow to overthink things too much. It's more or less in football you have to concentrate on the contents, on the topics you want to be good in, and not thinking and praying anyhow addicted for results. So we had a good first step at Burnley, and with the first clean sheet, the first away point, first time off the mark anyhow, was the first important step. Yes, and we want to make sure that the next steps will also follow. I want to do the next steps. Yeah, of course, on this level, if you want to stay in the league, it's always important to add some back-to-back unbeaten games under your belt. Yeah, of course, we want also to get off the mark in a home game and want to add the next unbeaten game. And if anyhow possible, also the next clean sheet, also to score a few goals. And of course, we're greedy anyhow to have this first win of the season, but it's also we are concentrating on taking it step by step, and we know that Brighton had a fantastic start to the season, and will be a difficult task. But we're in a good shape, also in good moods after a good last game before the international break, and for that we're looking forward to have this game.
And finally, from me, Newcastle have been taken over in the last week. What are your thoughts on that? And do you think it's going to make it more difficult now to stay in the Premier League this season?
Well, it's not so much my topic. It's never our style anyhow to comment any ongoing things for other clubs. I think each and every club should concentrate on himself in order to make sure that they are in a good position. We know that we are the only self-funding club on this level. It's never easy, and it's never an easy achievement for self-funding club to be competitive on the top level. Yeah, we have to earn the money before we can spend the money, and of course it's then anyhow difficult if you compete with big clubs who have also other financial resources anyhow, but we are also not jealous anyhow. We go our way, we go with our tools anyhow, and we try to make the best out of our way. So for that, I don't want to comment too many on our own topic and on other clubs. We have our own challenges and our own topics, and we concentrate on improving day by day also in our situation.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Dan. Okay, Jake Robson from PLP, please. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Daniel. Hope you're well. We just wanted to ask you actually about that result at Burnley. Maybe then the break came. Was when you picked up a sort of a little bit of momentum off the back of that result? Maybe did the break come at therefore the wrong time? You'd have liked to play again straight away.
Well, of course, after a good result at Burnley, and also the spirit was high in the dressing room. Yeah, first time off the mark, first clean sheet, first point. Anyhow, yes, you would like to kick on. There's also no doubt about this, but you can't choose. So the schedule is like it is, and we also don't complain. We've used also the international break in the best possible way. It's never easy when so many players are abroad. At just a handful of players to work. So we've used the first week a bit to. Some players also to finish their rehab process. For some players, they had to be in because a bit work was to do. Some players were allowed to have a bit more days off in order to recover, and then the second week also to train. Hopefully, and we were pretty concentrated. But of course, in a situation where we just had a handful of players available, and just since yesterday, all the players are back in training. It's always a bit tricky, anyhow. But we remind them already yesterday. Then good last game against Burnley, and on this we want to build and want to keep going and want to get the next step in order to achieve then in the end what we want to achieve.
And what from that match then for against Burnley will you be taking into the game on Saturday?
Definitely defensive steel and solidity. I think we were pretty compact and didn't allow many chances. So it's always the basement you should build on to be there with a stable defense, and it was our first clean sheet during the season. And this is something we have to definitely take into the next games, because we're struggling a bit with this topic to concede too many goals in the first games of the season. So I also liked our competitiveness and our fighting spirit, especially. You can't deny all the crosses and all the set pieces for Burnley. And when there is a cross and the set pieces, you have to show some steel and some competitiveness also in this moments. Yes, we've shown this as well. And I got the feeling so the longer the game went on, the better we were also in our offensive topic. So first half we were a bit more concentrated on being solid, but in the second half we created many good or several good situations at least. And of course we also want to score goals and want to build on also a good second half in this topic. Want to make sure that we are capable then also to create and hopefully also to be effective in order to use the chances. Anyhow, there were many things to take out of the Burnley game.
Obviously, where you are in terms of points is different from when you were in the Premier League last time. But how have you found the two experiences? I know we're not that far into the season, but so far, do you maybe feel similar or completely different to how you felt this time a couple of years ago?
Well, I think it's a different situation. First of all, I mentioned really from the first day, I think we are much better prepared during this season as we were in comparison to two years ago. 2 years ago, everyone was really buzzing and perhaps even a bit overexcited. We had also a fantastic start, anyhow, with 2 amazing wins against Newcastle and Manchester City, anyhow. But everyone was perhaps even a bit more excited to play this first season. Right now, it feels even a bit more like perhaps not business as usual for us as a club, but even a bit more calmed, a bit more relaxed. And I quite like that we're not anyhow too nervous and playing on the best league in the world. So obviously the fixture list and the start due to our COVID situation was not the easiest one, and also like a few players then arrived pretty late. Yeah, of course, in terms of points, it was not the easiest start for us, but I got the feeling we are much better prepared in comparison to 2 years ago. And for that, it feels, yes, of course, always as a big challenge for a self-funding club to be competitive on this level, but it feels a bit more normal and not that emotional like 2 years ago. Yes, and for that, I think we are in a good place.
And then just one question actually on Brighton. They've obviously made a very good start. Everyone's talked about that. Their best start ever to a top flight season. Has their form after 7 matches surprised you? We can't have necessarily expected them to be doing this well at this point.
No, it doesn't surprise me, and they deserve all the praise. I think Graham Potter is doing a fantastic job. I can remember 2.5 years ago when we won the championship title. He was in charge for Swansea, and they finished, perhaps not that much on the spotlight in mid-table, but even at this point, I already liked his football and how he sets up his team, and a good possession side, really good in the build-up, flexible also in their approach, good in their pressing, and I was delighted for him that he then got the chance anyhow to show his qualities also on the bigger stage, and also with some more individual quality for Brighton, and what he's capable to bring to a club. He shows right now with Brighton, because I got the feeling since he took over, he has developed this club more or less from on a daily basis, and they are improving week by week. For that is no coincidence that they have such a strong starter. So I really like the work that Graham is doing over there. I think he's a great coach, also great human being, always down to earth and unbelievably humble. And also a bit when you watch their games and the soft skills and the relationship between the players and within the club, you feel a great bond and a great camaraderie. And I think that's down to the perfect leadership of Graham Potter. And I like a lot what he's doing with his players. Yes, obviously also many experienced and high quality players. We don't have to speak about this, and they have some other, also financial opportunities. I can remember once they signed Neil Maupay, was also a player who attracted us, but sadly we had no chance to bring him in. So for that, yes, we also accept that they are a bit further ahead also in their development, but also many compliments to what they have done in the recent years, and I'm pretty sure they will also finish in a strong position. And we are respectful. We know that we face a really good opponent, and I'm pretty sure that Brighton will finish also in the top position in the end of the season. But nevertheless, we want to be successful too.
You say that you're an admirer of his style of football, and it sounds like similar to the style of football that you like to play and that you like to watch. But what is he then getting his players to do that you would also like your players to do that perhaps isn't quite happening?
Well, it's a difficult question because it's a different surrounding. I can remember our discussions anyhow 2.5 years ago when he was in charge of Swansea and was speaking about, you guys are role model in many ways. We want to play a bit like you. And then, of course, right now he's working at Brighton, and also for a club who is used to play on Premier League level, who had proven Premier League players, and also perhaps even a bit more opportunities in terms of individual quality. And then it's also a bit perhaps even a bit easier to bring your thoughts about possession-based football into the on the pitch. So for that, I totally like their style and also totally like what they are doing, but we can't say, okay, we want to play the same stuff like Brighton, because it's a different setup. So I can remember yet perhaps quite similar idea, not the same, but quite similar idea also to our way 2.5 years ago at Swansea. But it's not that easy always to have the same output, because you're working then for a different club and also on a different level, and you always have to go and use the strength of your players, and you have also to adapt a bit your style and to what you've got, and the skills and the quality that you've got. So Brighton is meanwhile a proven Premier League club, and Brighton is meanwhile also a club who has many proven Premier League players and also quality players who attract also the top clubs in this league. When I think, for example, about Ben White last season or something like this. So they are definitely further ahead in their development. Hopefully we are also one day looking back and can speak about, okay, we have 4, 5, 6 years in a row on Premier League level, and then we can even speak about some other topics, some other skills. For us right now, it's just one topic. We want to make sure that we stay in this league, and for that, it's not too much talking about the philosophy or how we want to play. It's more like, yes, we also have to be efficient, and this is our way at the moment, and for that, we are not looking too much to other clubs.
Okay, and just lastly then, obviously everybody knows you're still looking for your first win, but how special would it be to actually manage to do that at home and give the fans who've stuck by the team something to really enjoy?
I would have taken also a win at Burnley if I'm honest. So it doesn't matter. But yeah, of course, we also want to get off the mark in a home game, and especially for a newly promoted side, I think it's crucial also to win many points at home, and also to add some wins under your belt. So it's of course quite important. But it's not like you press a button and it works anyhow. So you have to make sure that you're good in your performance. Yeah, we have to make sure that we are there with our best possible performance in order to give ourselves a chance to win points against a really good started Brighton side, a really strong side. Anyhow, and we have to make sure that we are really spot on in our behavior against the ball, with the ball, in all topics that are important for a game of football, and then we definitely have a chance.
Thank you and best of luck.
Thank you, Jake.
Thanks, Jake. Dave.
Hi, Daniel.
Dave, hi.
Matthias Norman, can I just check on him? He pulled out of the Norway squad. He's all okay, and Christoph Zimmermann as well. Is he sort of available again?
Well, in general, we have many good news in individual terms during this week. So with Matthias, it was difficult. So he is just back in team training since 2 days. So he needed individual work in the first week because he needed an injection therapy. Was not able to train in the first week of the international break, and also in the beginning of the week, he had to do some individual programs. Since Wednesday, he's back in training, and yes, he's available. Perhaps not the perfect scenario in order to go into the game, but I think it was definitely the wrong and the only possible solution to leave him out of the national team. And I hope it's beneficial also for the upcoming week. So, but he's definitely available since Wednesday, back in training, and definitely good news with him. Also, Todd Cantwell since the beginning of this week back in team training. All the other guys from the national teams came back in good mood, also without any problems. Billy Gilmore was struggling a bit with the cuff and the blocked nose, but not that bad. He's also available, like I mentioned, to Milot Rasica, also with a knock on his knee, was struggling a bit, but he's available. The only bad news is Christoph Zimmermann. He's still struggling with his ongoing ankle problems, and it looks a bit like perhaps he needs another surgery. So definitely annoying news and bad news, especially for not just for us but also for Christoph, because he was struggling a lot in the recent months. And hopefully it's not too bad, but we have to wait for the further assessment. So he's definitely not available for this game, but he's more or less the only player who's not available. And also some good news with Sam Byram, because he was also taking part in major parts of our team training during this week. I think from the 5 days we've trained since Monday, he joined in 4 days team training. So after being out right now for I think 18 months or whatever, definitely a good promising step on his way back to be a topic then also for the game days. And yes, we still have to be a bit careful with him, but definitely also good news with him.
Would it be a case of Sam playing a few games for the under-23s to start with?
No, it's too early. So first of all, he was out for 18 months. First of all, he has to make sure that he has really a full training week. So again, 4 out of 5 days is really good, but we won't force it too much. So he needs a few more training days, and also to find the full confidence back for his body, and to work a bit on his endurance and resilience. And we won't force anything too much, but it's definitely good for him that he's back on the pitch. And hopefully it will go on also like this.
With Todd, is he a starting option at the moment? Because he's actually ended up missing quite a bit of football, hasn't he?
Yes, if you're honest, so his last game in the starting lineup is several weeks away, and then yes, he missed more or less 2 weeks full of team training. Also last week, he did some individual work because he had also problems with his Achilles. So back in team training since Monday, so means he's available. But in general, till he's then really back to his full fitness and real beneficial option then also for us, also for the starting lineup. I think we will need a bit more time and a bit more consistency than in training, but it's definitely good to have him back, and that he right now can build also his resilience and work on his shape anyhow. And it's good that he's at least back in team training.
So thankfully, no sort of fresh injuries from the internationals, and maybe a little bit of help. Przemysław Płacheta, for instance, getting back into action with Poland. Where's he at the moment? Because again, he's not had a lot of football this season. Does he come into your thoughts yet, or has he still got a bit of work to do to get back into the sort of matchday squad?
Yes, if I'm honest, I was surprised, scared, and then pleased that he has played exactly in this role. Because he was out for 9.5 weeks and it was difficult because due to his COVID symptoms. There was also a problem with his heart anyhow due to this, and we were unbelievably careful with him. And then, yes, he returned back to team training just in the week before the international break. It was a bit of a surprise that he was called up, if I'm honest, but it also says a lot about the trust of the Polish key people anyhow in him. And then when I saw that he would be in the starting lineup, I was a bit, not just surprised, but also a bit scared and was saying, oh, after being out for 9.5 weeks, just with 4 or 5 days of training, hopefully it works. And then to play 90 minutes, I think in the end he was struggling with a few cramps, but he came through it. And then, of course, I was pleased because it's definitely beneficial for him, and I was really happy for him. And yes, he's also definitely an option. So a bit the same like with Totti, we need a bit of time with on the training pitch. Because the opponent, with all respect, on the national team was also not the best opponent in the world, with all respect. But it's definitely good to have him back, and also his skills back, and his sharpness in the game, and also he's a player full of potential and with lots of pace, and good to have him back in training. And Przemysław will also be a good option for the upcoming weeks. This game will probably come a bit too soon for him.
Can I just double check that I heard you correctly there, Daniel? Did you say he had a slight heart issue?
No, yet during you mean after the COVID, with the COVID symptoms? Yeah. This was one of the long COVID symptoms that he had. So it was also like a problem anyhow with his heart rhythm anyhow, and for that we had to be unbelievable careful. So for example, the first 6 or 6.5 weeks he was not allowed to train with a pulse higher than 120 anyhow. So we had to be unbelievably careful with him. So for that, yes, I was pleased to have him back just before the international break. And he looked quite sharp. So he's anyway a player with great physique anyhow. And right now everything's sorted. Also, he's got the foam up from the docs, and everything is okay anyhow. And there's no danger at the moment. So all okay. And it's definitely good to have him back, yes.
Okay, good. A similar question on Billy Gilmour. He's got 2 full matches with Scotland during the break. How beneficial can that be for you?
Yes, good games are always good for the confidence, and also for the rhythm of the players. But I didn't have the feeling that Billy had not enough game time for us. Yes, obviously he didn't play the last game, so for that it was also okay that he played right now for the Scottish team 2 times. Didn't do any harm on him, but he had also played more minutes than ever before in his career. So for that, I could have done even just perhaps with 1 game with 90 minutes anyhow. But to play two games, although all my Scottish players came back in a good mood after good results. So it's also good for the head. And again, like I mentioned, he's struggling a bit with some cough and the blocked nose anyhow. So, but not a major problem. He's also tough. And when young players getting minutes, it's always beneficial. Of course, it's right now a different challenge on Premier League level, but I know I can always count on Billy, and he has played already many minutes. Although, of course, at Burnley anyhow, we choose then to go for a bit more, players who are capable, then perhaps even a bit taller anyhow, to be competitive in set pieces and defend all the crosses. Perhaps from the technical point of view, also not a perfect game for Billy, but he's always a really good option also for our team. And there's no coincidence that he has also played many minutes for us so far in all competitions.
Okay, just finally for me, you said some nice stuff there about Brighton's overall development. In terms of the here and now, they seem to have a nice balance between being very good defensively. They have a lot of size, but they also are able to still play some good football. Is that something that your team can look to for a bit of inspiration at the moment? Because that's kind of the balance that you're trying to strike as well at the moment, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. So they are unbelievably strong in terms of defending, absolutely compact, difficult to score goals against them. I think they have just 5 conceded goals so far, but they are still playing attractive football. It's also another proof that it's not too much down to the base formation. Yeah, they play also quite often in 3-man formation. It doesn't mean you just have to park the bus. No, they're also in this formation. They are capable to attack, to press, to keep the ball really well. But if necessary, then also to be really absolutely solid and compact at the back. And yeah, this is something we also want to achieve, to have this confidence in our game that we also can return back after 90 minutes to the dressing room with a clean sheet, to be solid in our defending, but also to be good on the other end of the pitch. So to find this balance is always, it's never easy, but always important to do this anyhow. And this is also what we want to find, and also a bit the next step in our development. Yes, right now we looked, at least in the last games, quite solid in terms of defending. If we can add right now also some firepower up front, it would be the perfect balance then.
Great, thanks, Daniel. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you, David.
Thanks, Dave. Okay, Jim.
Hi, Daniel. Good afternoon.
Hi.
Hi. Just one quick one on the general subject that I guess every Premier League manager's being asked today. With Norwich and with the owners that Norwich have, and all of the support from there, does that make it more important for a manager, or does it not really matter what the owners are, what their background is?
I'm here, especially also because of Delia and Michael. I can't ask for better owners, and we are also not jealous as a club. So once I signed the first time for this club, obviously the relationship with Stuart Webber was also quite important. But for me, it was also important to speak to our board, to speak to our owners, to get a feeling how they want to develop this club. Also a feeling like how the heart and the soul of this club is. And I'm really, I can't ask for better owners in terms of how they lead the club, with so much staying humble and down to earth, and with so much passion for the people, and also concentrated on bringing the right values to the club. And they lead the club with so much intelligence and so much also more like concentrated on the bigger picture, also on the midterm and the long-term process, not just like quick success, spending unbelievable amount of money in order to bring some success. And if it doesn't work anyhow, we leave the club in a horrendous place and in a financial disaster anyhow. So they really care for the people, and they care for this club. They care for each and every employed human being here. And for that, in this terms, you can't ask for better owners. I think they're fantastic and great, and a major part also why I extended also my contracts, because I know there's a big trust between all of us, and really I can't ask for better owners. Yeah, obviously we are a self-funding club, and we don't have the financial opportunities like other clubs, and of course other investors bring then sometimes other financial opportunities to some other clubs, and it's not easy to be competitive then on this level. We also know this, but we are also not jealous anyhow. We have to work for this club with the tools that this club has anyhow. And I think it's also, you have to be careful what you wish for anyhow. And yes, for some clubs, when the right people are there with the right money, it also works quite well. And but the most important topic is that you have also the right people in the right place anyhow. And for that, we are not jealous anyhow. We know that yes, it makes our life always a bit difficult, that we have to sell sometimes our best players, or we have to earn the money because we can spend it. But I genuinely really think that also our supporters and the people who are connected here with Norwich, they also value what we're doing. They're also quite proud. And it's perhaps not always about like, yes, winning titles. It's more like to make the best out of your opportunities anyhow. And I think our supporters have also a great sense, and they know it's difficult for us to be competitive, and then of course, and the outside world quite often writes us also a little bit off and speaks about, yes, there are not the opportunities like other clubs, but I think also our supporters and the whole community feels also the pride anyhow to be competitive even under this circumstances anyhow. And for that, no, we don't complain, and we are not searching for any excuses anyhow. And we want to go with our tools realistic. We don't make more out of us than we are, but also not less. So we want to defend also this yellow shirt with all what we've got, and also to defend our values. And this is our way. And yes, of course, other clubs have other ways, and I also totally respect them. And it's also possible to create something outstanding. And there are also many clubs who prove that with a lot of money they can work pretty valuable as well. It's also, you don't have to be scared of money in this this business. That's also quite important. But you also always have to make sure that you work in your individual situation with your circumstances, and this is what we're doing.
What about the moral side of it, Daniel, with the fact that it's the Saudi Arabia regime behind that? Would that sit comfortably for you to be working under that kind of regime?
That's not up to me to judge. I think we have experts in order to judge if it's allowed or not allowed. And I really don't want to comment any ongoing things on other clubs. I think it's also good. Anyhow, we are also in the position bottom of the league. I think I don't have the right now to judge about other clubs. There are bigger names in this business who are perhaps also invited and allowed to give their opinion. So I think in our situations, we should be quite humble and not judge other clubs. It's more like to make sure that we concentrate on ourselves. And in general, I'm also far away from judging other people. So I just can say for myself that for me it's important. It's not. I don't take my choices just about money or about individual possible success anyhow. I have to be fully convinced of this project, and I don't know enough about any other leadership in other clubs in order to judge if it's for me or not for me anyhow. So for that, I'm far away from judging it. So all I can say, I'm absolutely happy, and Norwich absolutely happy with our owners. And all the other topics, I leave it with the people who are perhaps even more invited to comment.
I think Jurgen Klopp's had a couple of things to say on it this morning. Just on the two loan guys with Billy Gilmore and Brandon Williams, do you feel under any extra pressure to get them involved more this season, or can it only be on a player's individual form?
No. No pressure, because we're not here in order to develop players for other clubs. We are here to win points for this club. It's not about Billy Gilmore. It's not about Brandon Williams. It's not about Timo Pukki or Kenny McLean, who are our players. It's just like to play with the players who help us to win points. And this is also the challenge. For example, our loan players want to have. So it's not like they want a gift anyhow. They play just because we've loaned them and they want to play many games. No, they want the challenge also to play ahead of the other players who are our own players, and this is also the challenge that they want to face. And so for that, there's no extra pressure. The only pressure that I have is more like we want to be successful as a club, and it's, of course, we have shown a lot that we can develop young players and we can help young players to find the next step if they are our own players or loan players, like for example Oliver Skip also, who is right now playing on a different level to the situation when he came back before. But it's also important, and I think also the big club like Manchester United and Chelsea, they don't want it easy for their players. If they want to be then Man United, Chelsea, Tottenham players one day, they need to make sure that they face the challenge and they step up to the challenge. And for that, no extra pressure. So I'm not here to please Man United or please Chelsea or please Tottenham last season. I'm just here to win points for Norwich City, and that's my only topic.
That's great. Thanks very much. Best of luck on the game. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Okay, other Jim Conlon, please. Jim, I think you're still on mute.
Hi, Daniel. Just in relation to your position at the table now, the gap at the moment between 12th place, I think, and yourselves is 9 points. I know it's alarming, but when does that gap become even more alarming to you?
I'm not watching to the 12th position or whatever. I'm just watching on the next game. And I know we had a tough start in terms of many points, but we had a good first step at Burnley. But it was just the first step. Many other steps have to follow. And on this league, it's always like if you win points, if it's 1 point, it's a small step. If you win 3 points, a big step. Yeah, we want to take small steps. We want to take big steps. So we want to win points. That's our only topic. So also at the moment, I'm not willing to interpret too much into a gap to position 12, but also not to position, whatever, 17 or something like this. We know in the end, we need to win 35 plus a few points anyhow in order to stay in this league. And this is the target in the end of the season. And for that, we need many steps. So for that, we're not overly anyhow concerned that we are at the moment under the line. We wouldn't be dancing on the table if we would be a few points over the line and in position 17, 16 or 15. We know in the end of the season we need to be as close as possible to 40 points in order to stay in this league, and this is our target. And again, it's a marathon and it's also a big challenge and not an easy road. We need to do many steps, but one step after another. And the next step is then against Brighton. We have a chance to make a small step with 1 point or a big step with 3 points. And this is what we want to do.
And Daniel, you mentioned that 40-point target. And I suppose at each time of the season, you have to assess and reassess where those sorts of points are going to come from. And I suppose in come December time, have you assessed sort of target where you feel your club needs to be in order to achieve that task going forward, that golden 40-point mark?
No, I've never have long-term plans anyhow that in December I need to be there with 20 points and then in February with 25 points or whatever, or I'm not sitting there just with a pencil and paint out, okay, here, this is more or less what we need to achieve in November or whatever. My only topic is really Brighton. And of course, we want to win 3 points in this game. And if it's not possible, anyhow, then you have to make sure that you don't lose it and win at least 1 point. So this is always step by step, each and every game, and then you see what in the end the outcome is. But I'm not too addicted to sit the whole day in front of the laptop and try with lots of mass anyhow to find out how many points I need to be there to have at the 29th of December or something like this. No, just the next topic, step by step, and this is all.
And finally, for me, Daniel, I suppose Milos came here to the Premier League. He lit up the Bundesliga for his few years there with Werder Bremen, touted with an awful lot of clubs, scored a good lot of goals in Germany as well. Obviously, it's an adaptation to come to the Premier League as well. But obviously, he's a player that if he can really hit form, that he can hit double figures for you. He has that ability. He's done it in probably one of the biggest leagues in Europe. How important is it for Milos to really add in the goals to assist you from those flank positions?
Yes, that's right. So Milos is a player full of potential, and he attracted many clubs in the recent years. We are still pretty proud that we were able to bring him in, and we're all happy with him with signing. So he had difficult last 2 years, especially the last year at Werder Bremen. Let's be honest, otherwise it wouldn't be possible to bring him in because the year before, some of the top 6 clubs here in England, the top 2 clubs in Germany were interested in signing him. So we knew it would need some time anyhow for him to adapt a bit to English football. Also like to find his rhythm back. And preseason was also difficult for him because we had to cancel a few friendlies. He was out with COVID. Of course, I would have preferred anyhow that he would have had a full preseason. I think he showed more than just promising signs also in the first games. Yes, we know it would be nice if he gets off the mark also in terms of goals and assists. He was there actually with an assist for Kenny McLean's header against Leicester. That was, I think, wrongly ruled out by VAR. Otherwise, he would be already there with an assist. But he has definitely the potential, like you mentioned, to add also double figures in terms of scoring points. And we are trustful that we have it. Yeah, of course, if he's not on the pitch or just 10 minutes on the pitch, like against Burnley, it's also not that easy for him to score. But we are fully convinced that he helps us on the mid and the long term. And I just can say I'm happy with Milos. Also in the games, of course, it was not the easiest games for him to play away at Man City, to play Against Liverpool, we had tough fixtures then for the offensive players, also not that easy to shine, but I'm quite sure that we won't have to wait too long till Milot is off the mark in terms of goals and assists, and we're all happy that we are.
Cheers, Daniel, and best of luck against Brighton this weekend.
Thanks a lot, Jim.
Thanks, Jim. And finally, Rob Butler, please. Rob.
Thanks, Dan. Hello, Daniel.
Rob, hi.
Let's just talk a bit more about Teemu Pukki. Obviously, incredible record for Finland, and eclipsing Jari Litmanen. I'm sure a player you grew up being a big fan of. A fantastic footballer. Really great for Teemu Pukki to get that accolade.
Yes, and proud moment for Timo, also proud moment for the club, because I think we have also helped him to develop in order to be the player that he is right now. I think, yes, he's shown unbelievable consistency in scoring goals for us in the recent years, and this has also helped him to show this consistency then for the Finland team. So in general, proud moment for him and a remarkable moment, and he deserves all the praise, and it's also good that he has all the praise, because also from his mindset and the person that he is, he can also handle lots of praise. He's always humble and down to earth, and yes, fantastic player, like I mentioned, but even better human being, and we all should be really, really proud that we have him.
And scoring against Kazakhstan's one thing, but doing it against Brighton and Hove Albion's completely different. But it's good to see those couple of goals in form, and Norwich really need him, because goals are hard to come by at the minute.
Yes, definitely. It's. I'm always happy when my offensive players are scoring. If it's in a training session, if it's in a friendly, or for their national teams, it's always good for the confidence, good for the mood anyhow, and then you already feel there's more like, especially for strikers, and they need the feeling, okay, they can score goals. And for Timo, he's also already off the mark on Premier League level, but of course he wants to get a few more goals under his tally, and would be pretty beneficial for us. And for that, was definitely also good that he has scored for the Finnish team.
And just on Billy Gilmour, you mentioned earlier when you were talking to Jim about not feeling no pressure, not worrying about playing them. It's nothing to do with Chelsea, what Norwich do. They can pick their own players. But lots of people are looking at him from the outside, playing for Scotland, doing well. And lots of Chelsea fans are saying, why can't he get in the Norwich team? But I guess you're not fazed by that.
No, it's also a wrong picture of what he's done. So, yes, he was not in the Burnley game for Everton. But to be honest, he had a difficult preseason. He came later, also due to his COVID situation, due to the Euros. Anyhow, he has played in the first 6 games more minutes than any other midfield player for us. Anyhow, the first time he was out was against Arsenal, because he has played then also 3 games for his country. I also have to look a bit after this guy, because he's coming from a situation last season he has never started for us, at least not in the starting lineup for his national team, and hardly started for Chelsea, especially not in the second half of the season. We also have to look a bit after this guy. Second time that he was out was at Everton. He was the only midfield player who has played 180 minutes in the 7 days before, in the 2 games against Watford and Liverpool. It was the first time that he was perhaps a bit surprisingly out. Was against Burnley. Burnley, pretty special approach anyhow. And again, so Billy is a fantastic player. We are all happy that we have him. He has already many minutes under his belt, and I'm pretty sure he will also add many minutes under his belt during the season. But like I mentioned, so it's not about Billy Gilmour or Brandon Williams, who is a lone player, or Matthias Norman, who is currently a lone player, or Ozan Kabak. And to differ then to Teemu Pukki or Dimitrios Giannoulis or Kenny McLean or whoever, who are our players. So it's just up to make sure that we play with the players who help us to win the points. And there are no gifts anyhow. And of course, the Premier League is a different animal in comparison to, with all respect, but to play then and to score for Finland perhaps, or to play and to score whatever for the USA, like Josh Sargent, or for example Billy Gilmour for Scotland. And for that, we are happy that Billy performs on this level, and for the Scottish squad, and it's fantastic anyhow. But really, with all respect, to play against Faroe Islands is something different in comparison to the Premier League. And nevertheless, Billy is a fantastic player, fantastic human being. We are all happy that we have him. I can always count him. He always gives 100%. I'm happy with him. He's of course, just happy if he plays. Billy wants to play each and every second in each and every, even if I substitute him in a friendly in the 89th minute, he would be angry. And I love this mentality. He needs to have this mentality, because if you love football, then you love Billy Gilmore, because this guy's a baller. Hey? You always wants to have the ball anyhow, but he's also a young lad. We have to look after him. He also has to improve in a few topics. And again, it's also not that easy for him with his hype in his home country and lots of praise anyhow. And I think he's got a good mindset, and he's also a hard worker on the pitch, and he has unbelievable potential. And we're all happy that we have Billy, and for that, no one has to worry about him.
Yeah, just on Brighton now, and obviously Graham Potter's their manager. I'm sure you're a huge fan of his. He's done a great job there. Sean Dyche, last time out, 2 English managers you faced in a row, and they're 2 of only 4 English managers in the Premier League. Probably doesn't really have any significance, but it is interesting to see that English managers are quite sparse in the Premier League. Talk about Graham Potter and what you think about the job he's done, and the fact that he's one of a few English managers.
Yes, that's right. But my attitude that I don't think it's too much about the passport. So and you have different type of managers and skills in each and every country. So for that, I wouldn't interpret too much into passport. So it's not like what, for example, all Spanish coaches are just concentrate on possession. No, there are also Spanish coaches who are concentrate on good defending. The same with German coaches, same with English coaches. For example, also Sean Dyche and Graham Potter, both quite successful in their way, but also different in how they approach a game. And I spoke before, about Graham Potter. I'm full of respect. I mentioned his spell at Swansea when they finished 2 years ago in mid-table, and he was perhaps not that much in the spotlight, but I rated him even in these times, because I like how he set up his team. I like his thoughts about football. He's a great coach, a fantastic human being, and it's the success and the ongoing developing of Brighton is totally due to him and his personality. I think, fantastic what he's done, and also like his soft skills, his leadership has created also a great spirit in the dressing room and in the whole club. And fantastic manager, and always a pleasure to see Graham, because always also a great person. It's always great to have a chat also with him. Never that great to face one of his sides, because it's so difficult to play against his sides. But definitely unbelievable skills as a coach. And I'm full of respect for what he's done, and I like him a lot.
And it's at home tomorrow. Norwich fans have had a couple of weeks to get ready for this one after a good point at Burnley. You talked about fans understanding the process at Norwich and being on side. How much do they need to stick with you? Because, if Norwich perhaps have a bad start and maybe go a goal down, you really need those fans surely to stick with you, because, there's lots of work to be done this season.
To be honest, they don't need it, because our supporters are allowed to do whatever they think and whatever they want, because we play for our supporters, and they are more or less like the most important people in our home club, and we play to make them happy, and they help us also like with their passion, their investment. They buy the tickets anyhow, and for that they are allowed and invited also to do whatever they want. They are allowed to do everything. But yes, of course, to support us, to support our young players, to stick together, especially in the situation where it seems like all the outside world is already writing us off and giving us lots of stick and speaking about how Norwich shouldn't be allowed to play on Premier League level and doesn't deserve a right anyhow. In this moment, to stick together and to show unity and resilience and also during difficult times anyhow, then that we are there for each other. This is quite important. We've done this more or less always, or nearly always in the recent years, at least since I joined the club, and I know I can always count on them, and we always had this support since I arrived. We had also difficult times anyhow, and even this times they were always there and backed us and backed the players, because they understand the challenges we face on this level, and we play with many players out of our academy, with players out of our own, with many young players. And yes, it's quite important that we have their backing and we have their support. And especially in the home games, we have to make sure that we have an unbelievable unbelievable atmosphere that's really like a fortress and should be for each and every side difficult to play at Carrow Road, not just because of the quality of us as on the team, but also like the atmosphere should be quite spicy and buzzing anyhow. And hopefully we'll also have this atmosphere tomorrow.
And just finally, from me, there's a big push this weekend from the Premier League for No Room for Racism, which is obviously a campaign you'll know a lot about. And there's a report that's going around talking about the fact that Norwich City are only one of 4 clubs in the Premier League who've responded to requests from the police for support with stamping out racism in grounds. I guess you've been talking about it earlier on in the interview about the fact that you're proud of Norwich being a community club and a club that accepts everyone for who they are. You'll be feeling strongly about this, won't you, Daniel? The fact that Norwich are one of only those 4 clubs who've responded to the police request.
Yes, we are open, we are tolerant, and it's one of our key values in this club. We are not so interested in passport. We are interested in people and human beings, and want to be there for human beings and help human beings. And for that, we are quite strong also in this topic. And it's definitely good that we take part. And it's also one out of our key values within this club. And for that, we will always be quite strong at this point.
Brilliant. Thanks, Daniel. That's great. All the best.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, everyone. We will leave it there. And as always, we'll get this recording sent around the group later this afternoon. Thank you.